So tell me about what brings you guys in tonight.
Well, my husband here, he can't stop drinking. He drinks like a case of beer a day, and yeah, and we've been fighting about it over and over. So I just wanted to bring him and see a therapist to see if we can figure something out to work it out.
Okay. So your main concern is his drinking?
Yeah. And then he also doesn't value me. He doesn't think that I do enough at home. He thinks I don't do anything at home, and he curses at me, and he sometimes say things like I'm worthless, things like that. So it's very hurtful.
Okay. And what's your view of the problem?
Well, I work all day, and then I come home, and all I want to do is sit down and relax and drink a few beers. And I have her nagging at me all day, and it's just really annoying when I'm trying to just calm down and relax, unwind from the day, and she's down my throat telling me I need to start doing something around the house other than drink, and all she does is sit at home all day. She's a stay-at-home wife. She doesn't even have a job.
Well, because I used to do things around the house, but you would say I don't do anything. So why do I even do anything if I'm not appreciated?
You do the dishes. You did the dishes. And she would cook.
And
It's not that hard.
And I cleaned. It's a lot of work to do house chores.
So as both of you were telling your view of the problems, I just noticed that, John, your head was shaking, and then A, your head was shaking. So you obviously disagree with the views of the problem. Okay. And when did this all start?
It started about a year and a half ago.
I really noticed that she stopped cleaning about, I don't know, a while ago. She's been starting to do her own thing every day. So she just hasn't really cleaned or done anything. I come home to a dirty house after I have a really stressful day, overseeing tons of people, making sure everyone's doing their job, making sure they have the right materials, and I come home to a dirty house. Like, how is that? It's just making me more stressed out.
But if he doesn't appreciate me, what's the point of doing things around the house? And he say things like I said, he say things like I'm worthless. You know, that's very hurtful to me. And for someone like that, I don't want to do anything for them. So.
Well, and then she says I drink a case a day. No way. I drink maybe a few beers a night, and just enough to take off the edge.
It is a case a day.
I don't think it's
end
that
up drinking a
much.
case a day.
So let's pretend that you guys are asleep, and then you wake up the next morning, and poof, a miracle had happened, and your problems were solved. So A, can you tell me how you would know all your problems would solve, what that would look like for you?
Well, if the problems were solved, I would say I would wake up and wanted to do things for him because he would appreciate me, and he would stop drinking, or he would drink, you know, at the most 1 or 2 beers a day instead of a whole case, and it would just be happy to be around. I would just be happy to be around him, which I'm not right now. So.
How do you think your husband would know all the problems were solved?
Well, I guess like he thinks the problem is I don't clean or cook or do anything around the house. So I guess if he thinks that when the problems are gone, I would cook for him and clean the house so he could come home to with a meal on the table, and I guess to a clean house.
So it sounds like you have a pretty good idea of what your husband would like and what you would like.
Yeah.
Okay. John? If a miracle had happened, how would you know it occurred?
I would wake up in the morning and there would be coffee made. I would go to work, come home, drink a few beers, and she would not even nag me, ask me to do anything. I would just be able to sit there and relax for a little bit. When I came home from work, the house would be clean and dinner would be getting made or ready. And then we would just sit down and have a nice dinner. We'd talk about our day and go to bed happy with each other rather than fighting like we usually do.
And then how would you know if your wife knew a miracle had occurred?
Well, I'd probably stop drinking. I wouldn't drink a beer. I would tell her I love her. I would tell her that, I don't know, what she's done around the house is enough to contribute to our family. I wouldn't put her down. But, I mean, it's really hard when I'm stressed out all the time and I feel like she doesn't do anything.
So after listening to each other's ideal miracle, what's your outlook like on each other and what you expect out of each
I mean, I don't want her to feel like she's worthless. I said that one time when I was mad and she's been bringing it up. But I would like her to at least show that she cares because I'm working so hard to, support us and let her live the life. She gets to do her own hobbies. She doesn't even have to work because of my job. I don't know.
But I come from a culture where it's a man's job to provide for the family. So just because he is stressed out at work doesn't mean he could take it out on me and say things like I'm worthless. Even though he said it only once, his actions and his reactions to me staying at home feels like he thinks that I'm worthless. The way he looks at me, the way he rolls his eyes, whenever I do something, he thinks I'm doing it wrong. So things like that really hurts me. But I do want him to feel like I care about him, and also I do want him to think that I do things around the house, and that it's a hard job to keep up with the house chores, and he doesn't think so, even when I used to do it. So I would want him to appreciate more. Yeah.
So it sounds like you both want to feel like you're cared for, just in a little bit different ways. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 feeling most cared for, 1 feeling not so much, where would you guys rank yourselves?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'd say 1 or 2 at the most.
I think I would say probably 4. It's not the worst thing that's happened in my life, but it's something that definitely needs addressed.
Okay.
I say 1 or 2 because I feel like he abused me emotionally, and it's very I think it's very abusive of him, even though it's not physical, and it's very hurtful.
I feel like that's a little strong. I mean, I understand I can get, a little rude at times when I'm mad, but I mean, who can control that,
So how can we increase your 4 and your 2, or even get your 2 up to his 4? How can we increase these points?
I mean, I guess I could try to cut back on drinking. I know she really hates. She doesn't. I mean, she says if I just drank a few beers, she'd be fine with it. But I mean, a few beers doesn't get me drunk. So, I mean, what's the point in drinking a few beers if it doesn't make you drunk? So I think if I were to cut back on drinking, I could. I mean, cut back on drinking. It would help her increase her score. But then, for me to increase mine, she'd have to start doing stuff around the house.
And, you know, you go to work, you work hard, you just got this new promotion, so you're really wanting to provide for her. That's what it sounds like. You know, you're working hard and everything. And so by you even acknowledging that maybe you could cut back a little bit, sounds like you're trying to show her that you care.
Well, yeah, I do care about her. She's my wife. I love her. She moved over here for me. Like, I care about her deeply, but this is just too much right now.
And I have no problem doing things for him and cooking, which he wants to come home to cooked meal on the table. And I have no problem doing that. I have no problem taking care of him, cleaning, cooking, as long as he's going to be appreciative of that. And if he's going to, because when I used to do it, like I said, he didn't appreciate me. So if he is going to start appreciating what I do around the house and stop drinking, because when he drinks, he gets, very abusive. So I would have no problem doing that. I do love him, and I want him to feel like I want him to feel that too. I want him to know that I do love him. So.
Okay, well, for next time, I want you guys to go home and just observe each other. Observe, when you guys are home or even when you're apart, and things that you like and you would like to do more of, or things you would like to keep the same, or even things that aren't working out too well. And we will talk about those next time.
All right, thank you.